We're kicking off with SmackDown, as tonight's show will mark the Blue Brand's premiere on the USA Network, and a top name from Raw is reportedly being brought in. According to PW Insider, World Heavyweight Champion Gunther is set to be in Seattle for the event, though WWE has not officially announced his involvement. The Climate Pledge Arena is advertising that Gunther will defend his gold against Damian Priest, though as always, the card is subject to change. It is possible that Gunther could appear in a dark match, though fans are speculating that his presence could be a surprise that'll air during the much-anticipated show. Whatever the case, this will be a huge rematch for Priest, who lost the title at SummerSlam, and fans will have to stay tuned to see what happens. WWE already has some exciting matches confirmed for the show, including Andrade vs. Carmelo Hayes, and A-Town Down Under vs. Kevin Owens and a mystery partner. Cody Rhodes will defend the undisputed WWE title in a steel cage match against Solo Sikoa tonight, and Triple H has announced that this match will open the show. Despite the cage, fans are expecting the Bloodline to try to get involved, though many are speculating on Kevin Owens getting involved and possibly turning heel on Cody. Owens came up short against Rhodes in Berlin, and that loss has proven to be a tough one for the prizefighter to swallow, resulting in many believe a heel turn is coming. SmackDown's return to USA will start with quite the bang, and we'll have to see what else is in store for the Blue Brand's premiere later today. This November, WWE will host Survivor Series in Vancouver, marking the third time the show has come to Canada, and a huge name is being promoted for the event. On the official poster for Survivor Series, Roman Reigns is featured alongside other names including Rhea Ripley, Kevin Owens, Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, Solo Sikoa, and Cody Rhodes. Reigns made his return to WWE TV at SummerSlam to cost Sikoa in his match against Rhodes before appearing on the August 9th SmackDown to triumph over the Bloodline. The following week, though, the original Tribal Chief was destroyed by the Bloodline and the returning Jacob Fatu, as even the former Universal Champion couldn't beat their numbers. With that in mind, PWN reports that WWE's Survivor Series plan will see the return of War Games, and Sikoa's Bloodline face a team captained by Roman Reigns. TV developments and fan speculation have pointed to a clash between the new Bloodline and perhaps an old Bloodline, which could see the likes of Reigns, the Usos, and Sami Zayn. Reigns will certainly need backup if he wishes to hold his own against the new Bloodline that includes Sikoa, Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. This would certainly be an exciting match, and though nothing has been confirmed for the show yet, fans are eager to guarantee their seat in Vancouver's Rogers Arena. WrestleTix reports that it took them 12 minutes in the virtual queue before they were given a chance to buy tickets, a sign of WWE's ongoing popularity with fans. With that said, the price for tickets is proving to be an issue, with one fan on Reddit sharing that tickets close to the front row are going for nearly $2,000. For comparison, this fan said that they paid $120 for similar tickets to a recent SmackDown and questioned who can afford to go to these WWE events like Survivor Series with these prices. The show is proving to be pricey for many, but with Roman Reigns expected to be in action, there's clearly going to be a large portion of fans willing to pay the price of entry. But who do you think Reigns should align with if War Games is the plan? Do you believe this is the best direction for the OTC? Sound off in the comments section below. Right now, Darby Allin has an opportunity for the AEW World title waiting for him, but that match won't be happening at Dynamite Grand Slam as initially thought. Instead, Allin will put his world title opportunity on the line at that show against Jon Moxley, and now we know more about AEW's attitude towards a potential world title run. In recent weeks, it was circulated that AEW had strongly discussed Allin winning the title, possibly with him ending Bryan Danielson's reign and his full-time wrestling career. In an update from Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Radio, it was revealed that this was more than just a conversation, and at one point, this was the plan for Allin and Danielson. The match would have taken place at AEW Wrestle Dream in Tacoma, with Allin potentially defeating Moxley to secure his title match with Danielson. Allin, a hometown favorite from the Seattle area, was originally slated to win, but the current focus seems to have shifted toward a money match involving Moxley instead. Before that money match, though, Danielson will face off against Nigel McGuiness at Grand Slam Dynamite, the same night that Allin puts his title match on the line against Jon Moxley. Do you feel Darby Allin should be the one to defeat Bryan Danielson for the AEW World title? What do you think the direction will be after Grand Slam? Sound off in the comments section. McGuinness' match with Danielson will mark his first singles match since December 2011, though will hinge on whether the American Dragon is cleared for the bout. That addendum was brought up when the match was announced on this week's Dynamite, but how exactly did AEW come around to making this match official? On Wrestling Observer Radio, it was said that despite McGuinness and Danielson having on-screen beef for some time, this match was not part of any long-term plan for either man. Instead, the match came together more spontaneously and was thrown together, and Nigel has said that his tank is still at full for an in-ring return. Were you surprised to see AEW book this match between McGuinness and Danielson, and how do you think things will go? Give us your thoughts down below. At Allin, Daniel Garcia made his return to programming to cost MJF against Will Ospreay, and a match between Garcia and the Salt of the Earth was confirmed for All Out shortly after. While many felt it was clear that Garcia would get revenge on the man who tried to end his career, MJF got the win, but that wasn't how things were supposed to go down. Fightful Select reports that Daniel Garcia was initially considered to win his match with MJF at All Out, but since he hadn't signed a new deal before the show, MJF got the victory instead. AEW has offered Garcia a new contract, and the promotion was hopeful he'd sign it before All Out, but that didn't happen, and it's added that he's in talks with WWE management. Garcia has reportedly been speaking with William Regal specifically, and at this time, matters such as length of a deal and pay are being negotiated between the two sides. Garcia had a tryout with WWE before signing with AEW several years ago, but WWE chose not to sign him at that time, but his exposure in AEW has clearly put him back on WWE's radar. What's your take on Daniel Garcia's next move in pro wrestling? Do you think he should go to WWE or stick with AEW? Let us know what you think in the comments section. At AEW All In 2023, a single comment about Real Glass by Jack Perry would forever change the direction of the company and would ultimately result in the termination of CM Punk. These days, Punk can be found on WWE programming, where he's been feuding with Drew McIntyre, who has brought up plenty from Punk's personal life as part of this feud. During a Reddit AMA, however, McIntyre was asked if he had any thoughts on Real Glass, and Drew quickly said he didn't want to answer questions about that matter. Instead, McIntyre encouraged others to focus on The Killer's Game, his new film alongside Dave Batista, and it was noteworthy that McIntyre was quick to shut down the Real Glass talk. After all, it wasn't too long ago that McIntyre tweeted a photo with Perry, and while he deleted it shortly after, that image would go viral on social media. McIntyre and Punk have had scathing comments in their feud, and will continue to do so on the road to Bad Blood, but there's clearly some topics that are off limits, even for the Scotsman. But what did you think of this? Did AEW dictate McIntyre to avoid any AEW-related questions, or is there another reason behind his comment? Sound off down in our comments. In recent years, the topic of discipline in AEW has repeatedly come up as fans have shared their 2 cents on what's to be done with talent who cause trouble. After all, many fans felt that AEW was too lenient on CM Punk by essentially rewarding him with his own show in Collision in 2023, though AEW did eventually fire Punk shortly after. During an interview with Huge Pop, Mark Henry shared some of his frustrations with his AEW tenure, which wasn't what he initially thought it was going to be. Henry explained that he joined to gain executive experience and help the company grow, but soon realized that his role wasn't about making contributions backstage. He explained, "Tightening the screws requires you to be able to break your toolkit out. So there was a point when I realized that I wasn't there to tighten the screws. I was there for name recognition and visibility, and that's a horrible place to feel if you're a creative. I don't want to come across, I'm not whining and I'm not complaining, I'm stating the facts, but right now, everybody gonna be like, nah, Mark Henry just mad and bitter. I'm not mad and bitter." Henry also addressed the issues in the company with discipline, which he argues didn't take place while he was under contract with the promotion. "I went there because I wanted to get experience being an executive, and I wanted to help that company flourish and help those people that were over there be better than they were. I was working for those high fives from guys and girls coming back. And then there's some bad apples, and the bad apples have to be disciplined. Oh, they're disciplining people now, but nobody was getting suspended or disciplined when I was there. I don't remember that." Henry also confirmed that AEW had no plans for him to wrestle during his time with the company, and reiterated that he had mixed feelings about his time with AEW. Although things didn't go as expected, his intentions were always focused on helping AEW succeed, but it seems that it just wasn't meant to be for the world's strongest man. During the post-SummerSlam Raw, Bronson Reed made a huge impression by taking out Seth Rollins with 6 tsunami finishers to the 5-time former WWE World Champion. Rollins has been out of action ever since, with WWE stating that he would be out of action indefinitely, and he has even been replaced on the official Raw banner by Braun Breaker. Now, though, it appears Rollins' return is coming, as WWE is advertising the Architect for the December 2nd Raw, which will be the Fallout episode after Survivor Series War Games. As we always state, plans are subject to change, but if they don't, it'd make sense for Rollins to target Bronson Reed upon his return to programming. That said, a feud with CM Punk cannot be ruled out either, as WWE began sowing the seeds for that match upon Punk's return to the company at Survivor Series War Games last year. Due to Punk's injury, followed up by Rollins taking a break to heal up from injuries of his own, that match has yet to happen, but it's one that fans are eager to see. Given that Rollins is set to appear on the post-Survivor Series Raw, it's possible his return will come at the PLE itself, and could see him have a run-in with either Punk or Reed. Ultimately, fans will have to wait and see what WWE has in store for the Architect, but do you think Rollins should beat Reed upon his return, or should Bronson get a huge win over him? Share your thoughts down in the comments. On this week's Raw, Bret Hart appeared in a segment with Gunther, who declared Bill Goldberg to be his favorite wrestler before Sami Zayn got in the face of the Austrian. As we previously reported, Bret approved the Goldberg line, but turned down a pitch for him to be attacked, but there was another idea in mind for the Canadian icon. During Wrestling Observer Radio, it was revealed that at one point the plan was for Drew McIntyre to confront Bret, which would have resulted in CM Punk getting involved. This arguably would have made more sense given that Punk is a huge Bret fan, and while Sami and Bret are both Canadians, Zayn has never been as outspoken about his Bret fandom as CM Punk. Ultimately, it was Gunther, not McIntyre, who got in the face of Bret Hart on Raw, and we'll have to see how things go from here as Sami Zayn remains on the hunt for a title opportunity. We've got some sad news to report now, as Michael Scharer, a former WWE developmental talent, has passed away at the age of 47. After debuting in wrestling in 2003, Scharer signed with WWE in 2006 and performed in OVW and Deep South Wrestling as Mika Taylor, and would also have a 2003 match on Velocity. During his time in developmental, Scharer worked with some notable names including Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Matt Cardona, and held the DSW Tag Team titles with Tony Santorelli. In addition to his work in the ring, Scharer provided motion capture for WWE video games, but was ultimately released from the company in 2007. At this time, no cause of death has been publicly shared, and we'd like to offer our condolences to Scharer's family, including his kids Isaiah and Mina, at this incredibly sad time. For years, Batista dominated WWE opponents with his impressive physique in the ring, but recently the WWE legend underwent a major transformation and dropped a ton of weight. Speaking to Jimmy Kimmel this week to promote his new film, The Killer's Game, Batista spoke about his transformation and why he lost a ton of weight after a different film. He said, "A couple of years ago, I put on a lot of weight for a film called Knock at the Cabin, and I went up to 315, and I'm about 240 now. I've been trying to shed that weight since, and I've just now kind of gotten to the point where I'm like, I feel good, man. And I'm still 240 pounds, and people talk about me like I'm anorexic. 6'4", 240. Batista may not look exactly like he did in WWE, but he's clearly happy with his body, and that's what matters the most to the WWE legend turned acting superstar." At All Out 2022, the Motor City Machine Guns made their in-ring debut for AEW, and while fans hoped that this meant the pair would be all elite soon enough, that didn't happen. Instead, the pair reunited in TNA, but wrapped up their time with the company earlier this year, and in July, bid farewell to the Indies, fueling speculation of a future in AEW or WWE. Now, Corey Hayes of PW Nexus reports that while the Guns were in talks with AEW for a short time, and for a bit it seemed likely they'd sign with AEW, those talks have fallen through. The report did not clarify the exact reason for the breakdown in talks, but mentioned that WWE had previously extended a better offer, which likely influenced their decision. It's added that not only was WWE's offer better, but that the Guns have seemingly signed, as they're heading to NXT, where they'll be top names in the tag team division. According to the report, the team's debut could happen as soon as the Gold Brand's premiere on the CW, which will take place in Chicago, Illinois. That show is already stacked, with an appearance by CM Punk and title matches already announced, and now the Motor City Machine Guns could make this premiere even bigger. Before his WWE release last year, Matt Riddle had several controversies, one of which arose when he went public with his relationship with Misha Montana in 2022. In July 2023, the couple announced that they were expecting a child, and young Matthew was born that December, and now Riddle has commented publicly on their relationship. Speaking to Sports Illustrated, Riddle said he didn't want to hide his relationship and spoke about the hardship Misha has gone through thanks to overzealous wrestling fans. He said, "I'm 38 years old. I'm not trying to fake anything or hide anything. Like, I don't want to hide a relationship and have my girlfriend be all insecure because I won't post her. I just want her to be happy. She makes me happy. Unfortunately, I felt like at times that would upset them or other people. My girlfriend would get death threats and stuff saying that she ruined my life. I just don't find that acceptable." It's certainly unfortunate that Riddle and Misha have faced these issues since going public with their relationship, but the original bro won't let these comments harm his personal or professional life. Riddle has said he feels his chances of a WWE return are high, and we'll have to see if a return is indeed in the cards for the former United States champion. Do you feel fans went too far by sending death threats to Misha Montana? Let us know in the comments section below. In April, Jake Lee, an AJPW veteran, debuted for New Japan and joined the Bullet Club soon after, and he has been the focus of several storylines since then. When questioned by former allies about joining the heel faction, they were chokeslammed, and after joining the Bullet Club, sarcastically bid farewell to Noah, where he'd previously worked. Unfortunately, Lee suffered an injury this past Wednesday as during a six-man tag team match, he was knocked off the apron and fell to the floor, a relatively standard spot in a match like this. Sadly, Lee landed badly as he was seen holding his right knee in pain and remained off camera for the rest of the match. Tokyo Sports reports that Lee was taken away on a stretcher due to the injury, and while it's unclear how bad the injury is, he will miss tomorrow's New Japan Road to Destruction event. We at Slat Rock Wrestling wish Jake Lee a swift recovery, as this situation goes to show that even the simplest of spots in wrestling can carry the risk of injury. And we're ending with Jesse Ventura, who earlier this year confirmed that he's signed a new contract with WWE, one he credited to the company's new regime, and we now have an idea as to what he'll be doing. On the Straight Talk with the Boss podcast, Greg Gagne revealed that Jesse will return as a color commentator for WWE's upcoming specials on NBC that will air on Saturday nights. WWE recently trademarked Saturday night's main event, and fans can expect the iconic, charismatic Ventura to don the headset once more as part of an upcoming special.